Hey guys, and welcome back to the world's greatest reality show, Brexit Britain 2021. A country that has been destroyed by its leader, who is a complete clown. And also, welcome back to By Any Means Necessary. Thank you for all of your messages, yeah, and a special thanks to everybody who has signed up to my channel. I'm just going on to like 2,000 people, and it's just like I feel so blessed with so much people that have signed up. So thank you so much for that. I'll answer all your messages. Sorry, I will go through all the messages. I'll answer as many as I can, right? But I will like all the messages for definite, right? So a very difficult subject. Obviously, we've had a police officer in this country who has been given a whole life sentence, right? They keep on saying former police officer, but this man was a current police officer when he committed his crime. So they should stop. Even at this late stage, the police are still trying to cover their tracks in whichever way they can. You know, so obviously I'm talking about the death of like a very beautiful young lady, one of our beautiful young sisters, Sarah Everard, who was, who was taken off the streets by by a police officer, right, and raped and murdered, which is something that none of us ever thought that we could see. After watching the actual videos itself, none of us ever thought we could actually see anything like that. You know, very strangely that the today I've heard a lot of the far right and the right wing community speaking about this issue, right, and saying that oh, well, black people have been warning us about this, the power that the police have for the longest of time. Obviously, that we have been, as black people, we've known that the police have got a little bit too much power, right? And they exercise that power on us, right? You know, I can touch on this. I can touch on the whole white privilege thing here for a quick second, right? Because now, working class white people, yeah, right. You've got white privilege, but it's very very limited. You haven't got like Boris Johnson type white privilege or Donald Trump type white privilege. You can't go and shoot someone on Oxford Street and expect to get away with it, right? They're gonna put your ass in prison for 30 years, right? So those two could do that because those two have got the ultimate in white privilege, right? But as I said, working class white people, yeah, you don't, because society looks at you guys as niggers anyway, right? That's just how it is, right? But your white privilege, yeah, your little bit of white privilege that you get, right, is if you're not a criminal, right, then you don't get harassed by the police, right? As black people, yeah, they just naturally harass us all the time. It's just a natural thing, right? So that really, yeah, is your only little bit of white privilege that you actually get. That that's it. Do you know what I mean? Right. So when people talk about white privilege, right, working class white people, you ain't got none. You got as much white privilege as me. Okay, that's how much you got. But the difference is, my I don't get that privilege from the police. I get stopped and beaten up by them, right, and stopped and harassed by them, right. Whereas if you're as a white person, if you, right, are not a criminal, right, then you don't really, you can go through your whole life without really interacting with them unless you need to call them for something. I've got white friends, yeah, who have never been stopped, never ever been stopped, right? Just never ever. But then I've got white friends, yeah, who they've been out with me, and I've been driving the car next to we get stopped, and they're like, "What the fuck is that about?" Because they can't believe. Like, a lot of times they just can't. But obviously, if, once it's happened more than once, then obviously they're fully aware of it. You know what I mean? Of what goes on. So yeah. So I think a lot of people are coming round to understanding now. Yeah, how much power the police actually have over us, right? And because you got to remember, yeah, that they police by consent. They police with our consent, not so much mine, because I am policed, right? So So they're supposed to police with consent. That's with our consent, right? And I think now, when I say the amount of people that I've heard, and some of the people that I've heard, speaking about this, right, and saying, because I've heard more than one of of the right wing commentators say that, that black people have been warning us about these things forever, right? Now, we have no clue, yeah, right, whether or not this type of thing could have happened before. You know, I do know that revelations has come out about this police officer today, yeah, that he's in WhatsApp groups and all that type of thing, and there's some a lot of racism and misogyny and all these type of things within the WhatsApp group that he's in with 5 other police officers. Do you know what I mean? So you know, and obviously there seemed to have been some type of cover up because strangely, yeah, if I've got a friend, right, who we call his name is Honk, right? Now, there's a reason for that. Yeah? When you see him, right, because that's his nickname. His nickname is Honk. But when you see him, straight away you're looking for. You guys, you're just taking the piss. How can you even say that? Because he's got the biggest nose you've ever seen, right? Right. So people are given nicknames, yeah, for a reason, right? Now, this police officer's nickname was the rapist, all right? So, you're only given these type of names, yeah, for nicknames can be very visual sometimes, right? My nickname is Ribs because I have the perfect body, right? But nicknames can be very visual, right? So, and that's how people give them out, right? So you must have had people, right, at some stage, right, you know, who are police officers, right, who have given this man the nickname the rapist, right? Do you know what I mean? Which I just think to myself, well, it's very strange that he's been allowed to get away with some of the things that we're hearing about him. Driving around naked, flashing women, and driving through a McDonald's takeaway with no clothes on from the waist down. Do you know what I mean? So, it's all very, 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 very strange. What's gone on with this man, and then. There seems to be cover-ups and all these type of things. Don't get me wrong here, the police have done an absolutely fantastic job in bringing this man to justice, and we're all very, very pleased about that, right? That they've done that, But as I say, it just all seems very, very. It all seems there seems to be, that the police knew about this man's character, and he was still allowed to carry a badge and handcuffs, right? Which is something that if you was a rapist, right, you know, and you got caught with those two things, right, they would immediately take you straight to prison. They wouldn't even, your feet wouldn't even touch the ground. They'd take you straight to prison, right, for intent. Okay, so there's police officers within within the place where this officer works, right? Who are calling him the rapist, and they're doing that for a reason. Do you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden he's raped and murdered someone. You got to say, well, they must have seen that coming. They must have seen that coming. I don't know. Anyway. So Nigel Farage now, yeah. Apparently Nigel Farage has been trolling around 7 petrol stations, right, to find himself some diesel, right? Probably drives a Volvo, right? To find himself diesel, trolling around and trolling around. Hey, I would have loved to have seen this. So I would have followed him around all 7, because I have diesel. Followed around all 7, right? while telling him about himself, asking him, yeah, why the hell, what the fuck he's done this to this country for, right? Because it's his fault, right? Why we're having petrol crisis in this country. All of that's down to him. It's his fault. I don't know what the hell this man is even, right? You know what gets me, right? Is Nigel Farage shouldn't even be speaking still. Right? He should have gone. He should have got his job on Fox News, right? So he could have been we could have seen less of him here, right? And then he's managed to get himself shunted on a roundabout by a van, right? Probably didn't knock any sense into him. Do you know what I mean? Because I think he's been kicked in the head by a horse, and that didn't knock any sense into him. Do you know what I mean? So Nigel Farage is moaning about he can't get fuel. Do you know what I mean? I think there's some irony and some poetic justice in there somewhere. Do you know what I mean? Nigel Farage can't get fuel, and Nigel Farage is an idiot. I don't know if you saw like Andrew Bridgen and Anna Soubry on GMB. The thing that really struck me first of all, right, um, about Andrew Bridgen, there was no flags. The man was being interviewed, and there was no. Where the fuck is his patriotism gone? Or I should say his nationalism. But where's it gone? Because there was no. I'm upset now, right? Because when I see these guys, yeah, I expect to see 20 flags behind them. Right, that's what I expect to see. How much, yeah, do you think that the Tories' flag budget has been, right? So that you Brexiters could look and go, oh yeah, look, they've got flags. Look, they're so patriotic. They've got flags, loads of them. Look, they've got 6 of them, 6 flags behind them. They're so fucking patriotic because there's 6 Union flags. That's how stupid you Brexiters are. Do you know what I mean? They bring out the flags for you guys. They roll out the flags. That's how foolish you Brexiters are, right? Idiots, right? Andrew Bridgen, not one flag behind him, right? And then he's trying to tell Anna Soubry about about the current HGV crisis that we're having. The current HGV crisis, even though, right? I don't know if you watched Question Time last night, yeah, but the guy from the CBI, right, was on there. And he just said, you know what? I've been warning the government and warning them and warning them and warning them all the time, right? That we're going to have a shortage of labour, especially HGV drivers. And he said, well, I was telling them from back in. He said to them, I wrote to them back in June, right? He wrote to them before that as well, right? He's been telling them, and they've been going, yeah, well, because that's all these guys are doing. Because they haven't. Because I'm telling you from now, yeah, these guys haven't got a clue. Because they're saying, well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to make sure that these people have got better conditions, better pay, and better conditions, right? But I mean, when's that going to start? Because now you're begging people to come you're begging like 5,000 drivers to come from the EU, and they've said bollocks, by the way, right? So I think we're going to be going further afield. Right, to Africa, to Asia, to maybe South America, right? People who are on like probably a really low wage somewhere around the world, right? Where they can come over here and that what they're going to be paid, right? Is going to be like 5 or 6 or maybe even 10 times as much as they can get, right? So they'll come over. Those type of people might come over for 3 months and get the fuck out of here on New Year's when they're supposed to, or on Christmas Eve when they're supposed to. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, so Andrew Bridgen is trying to tell Anna Soubry about why we're facing driver shortages and how it hasn't really got anything to do with Brexit. And you think to yourself, these people, right? Andrew Bridgen, right, should go and hide himself, right? In fact, right, he should go, right, and lock himself in a room, right, with a shotgun and a bottle of vodka, right, for the bollocks shit and holy nonsense that man was speaking. Remember before Brexit, he wanted, right, he's convinced you fools, right, to vote for the shit, right, and now, right, you're scraping around for diesel and petrol, right, and but none of these guys. Remember, yeah, Nigel Farage might have been caught up in the fuel crisis, yeah, but right, really, remember Nigel Farage, Yeah, he don't really need to work, right? Not like your ass. Not like you Brexiters, like you working class Tories. Not like you. You got to get your ass out there to work. You ain't got them options, right? Nigel Farage can just say, you know what? I'm gonna have a duvet date, right? Get GMB to come and set up. Get no GB News. Sorry, not GMB. Get GB News to come and set up in my shed. And I'll do my show from there because he can do that type of thing. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, them people that don't really need to work, right? You see, that's why Nigel he could drive past, he could see like queues at 7 petrol stations, and then they say, you know what, I'm just gonna allow that, man. I'm just allow that, right? Because he can just go back home and say, you know what, I'm just gonna stay at home until this thing is done. Do you know what I mean? Because if worse ways, yeah, GB News probably would just send him a car. Do you know what I mean, to get to work? They just send him a car to say, you know what, yeah, we'll send a car for you. Okay, have you got that option open to you, Brexiters? Is that option open? That option it's not open to you, right? That option's not open to you at all, right? Because you know why? Because you're working class and you voted against your own interests. You damn fool, right? Michel Barnier is just telling it. People like Michel Barnier, they're just telling it how it is. They're just like, you know what? All of this is down to Brexit. But Kwasi Kwarteng, yeah, Kwasi Kwarteng has said that all of this, right, the fuel shortages, right, all of this is it's all a plan, right, to get us to get us to the high wage economy. So all of this, according to Kwasi Kwarteng, all of this, yeah, has been planned for. Do you know what I mean? So we can look at that and say, yeah, then you know what? Obviously, the Tories know exactly what they're doing. So if we can wait till the weekend, I'm sure everything will be back to normal. Well, I think, yeah, the Tories have lost complete control, right? And you know something, yeah? If we ever get soldiers delivering fuel, we are officially the third world. Right? You do realise, right? It's only in third world countries, yeah, you really see soldiers on the streets, right? Because the thing is, right, with soldiers, yeah, soldiers do not have social skills. They're not police officers, right? They're soldiers, right? They're bred to kill, right? So they don't really have the social skills to be on the streets or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? So that's the last thing that the best place for soldiers to be, yeah, is on the battlefield or in their barracks, right? You don't want them on your streets, right? It's not a good situation. Do you know what I mean? Because they as I said, they don't have any social skills. Not like police officers. Police officers are there for civilian populations. Soldiers and civilians shouldn't really be mixing. I know we're not going to have. I know we're not. We haven't got to a stage where we're going to have armed soldiers on the streets. But you know when Brexit really starts to kick in. Right, because today is the 1st of October, yeah, which means that all the rules have changed now, right? And you can't come to this country, yeah, unless you've got a passport now, right? Because most of the EU citizens that come here, the drivers that come here, yeah, they're using they've got like identity cards, so that's how they travel around Europe. So most of them actually haven't got passports, right? So now I don't know what the situation is going to be with drivers coming over here from the EU because I'm sure that they've got to have a passport now to if they're going to come into this country as a driver. I'm sure they've got to have a passport now. They can't do it, so that's going to stop a lot of companies delivering here as well because we're saying to them, you know what, we're so motherfucking exceptional, right? That you go and buy yourself a passport. Go on, get a passport to come here. Get a passport. So that's what we're saying to them. We're saying to them, you get a passport. You want to come here, get a passport, come here. Do you know what I mean? Right? Because, as you know, Britain, we are super exceptional. Right? And we stand on our own pedestal. And if only that was true, yeah, we wouldn't be, right, in a country where we've got petrol crisis, right, and people fighting up in petrol stations and all that type of bullshit. right? And we wouldn't have gone from probably the sixth largest economy. We're probably about 12th. We're probably about 12th to 15th now, right? But they're not telling you none of this, right? Because this country's lost so much business and so much money, right? That there's no way we can still be the sixth largest economy in the world. It's impossible. It's impossible. Do you know what I mean? A lot of most of the Europeans have taken away all of our banking. All the financial services from the city. Most of it's gone into the EU. So there's no way that we can be the sixth largest economy in the world anymore. Just not possible anymore. Do you know what I mean? This is third world Britain, and that is down to you dirty, stinking, nasty Brexiters who voted against your own interest, right? When you should have known better, when we told you better. We told you exactly what is going on in this country now, yeah? We told you this was going to be the case, and the shit is just about to really start hitting the fan, and it's going to get a lot worse, right? And today, end of furlough, so we're going to see now, right? So you Brexiters, yeah, you people, you need to wise the fuck up, right? Get with the fucking plan, because even all the deregulations, we've got all the deregulations coming now, right? Where they've got a bonfire of regulations gone. Do you know what I mean? So we're no longer following the EU's rules on anything, on cars or anything. But the new British kite mark, what they was talking about. I think what's going to happen here is we're just going to have to go back to the EU one, because the British one is probably not going to be allowed in the EU anyway. The only place it's going to be used for is here. And what fucking use is that? So you Brexiters here, you Brexiters need to sort your fucking shit out, right? Get with the fucking program, because this country here needs to get back into the fucking customs union and the single market, and it needs to do it fucking sharpish, right? Or, right, we're going to be completely fucked over, right? So you Brexiters are the people who need to get your fucking act together, right? Stop your fucking racist bullshit. Get your shit together, right? Help out, right? Anyway, guys, this is By Any Means Necessary. I'm DMC John Ribs. It was really nice to speak to you guys. Comments below.